month and see her amazing son. Plus, one of my favorite things was that whenever we threw Lauren her surprise baby shower, let me tell you, Lauren right there is a trooper. She would still attend our sleepovers and sleep on an air mattress at 8 months pregnant. And she would stay up until 4 or 5 a.m. doing the same thing we did every time. Now, one of my favorite memories, however, is when Chelsea, Abby, Kirsten, Ashley, and myself left our prom this year for just a little bit, and we went over to the next building and crashed Ozark's prom. It was so much fun, and I'm not gonna lie, we felt pretty cool strolling in there just dancing with random strangers. Mikkel, Kirsten, and I had our new tradition of Sonic powwows, and our trip to Columbia this year was really fun. I have to give a special shout out to my lunch table though, because every single day we talk about something crazy, and there's almost always an awkward moment thanks to Sam, a hilarious sarcastic comment made by Mikkel, or a random story told by Joe. That table is never boring and has always been entertaining. High school is sometimes definitely what you expect it to be, and other times it's completely different than what you imagined. You really do figure out who you are, what you like, and what you're good at, and what type of people you like to be around most. But also in high school, you learn that things change and that you don't have everything figured out, but that it's also okay not to. I realized that I didn't need to plan out my whole life in one setting, and that a lot of things take time. I also learned about trusting God to take complete control of my future and knowing that everything will work out for the best. I think if we took a vote for the most popular class, it'd probably be any class with Mr. Essick, aka DJ Novatech. He will always be the most random man I have ever met. I think most of us can also agree that Mrs. Maxwell is the best substitute, an all-around old lady that has ever lived. I know she's probably crying right now. I have to give her a special thank you because she never judges us, always puts up with our misbehaving, and truly does care for all of us. I'm going to really miss seeing you, Mrs. Maxwell. There are a lot of things that got me to where I am now. I want to thank God for bringing me to where I am now, for taking me where I'm going in the future, and introducing me to so many special people, and for guiding me through each and every crazy situation I found myself in this year. I also need to thank a few teachers. Mrs. Bailey, you whipped our butts into shape in no time, and really showed us that true teaching, that it should be taught a certain way, and you did it right. So thank you for your work that you put into your class. Mrs. Pottinger, you were there for a lot of students this year, and I believe that you try your best to make the classroom more interesting and interactive, so thank you for that. Mrs. Spradling, you taught us some very important lessons in English and ACT prep that we were lacking, and I'm sorry to say that you had to go back a few years and reteach us some things that we were missing. Your dedication for what you do is very admirable. I also have to thank you for every time you let us overtake your house and your kitchen. I love your home and the things that you and your husband do for our group of friends. And finally, Mrs. Donaldson, I have to personally thank you for every morning I came in and bothered you for help, every question you answered, and your amazing heart. FCA was a lot of fun with you, and I can't thank you enough for all that you do. I'm also very glad that you understand our term nubby. I definitely have to thank my entire family for putting up with all of my baggage, for encouraging me in every situation that I felt scared about, and for keeping the household loud at all time, because I can't imagine it any other way. I have to especially thank my parents. It is quite an interesting life when you have a police officer and a principal running your home. They have kept me in line all these years, and now it is my turn to keep the tradition going when I go off to college. I also have to thank a certain little boy who makes my everyday better, who makes me smile in the worst situations, and who inspires me to pursue the career that I have planned. Lucas is the best thing that's ever happened to me, and definitely the funniest person I know. I have to thank my special group of friends as well, because you guys have made my life so much fun and very special. I could write a very large book about everything we've done, and we have all helped each other through a lot, especially this year with so much going on. Finally, I need to thank Pinterest for entertaining my mind during the slow parts of my day, Jimmy Fallon for being my favorite person on TV, and food for being the wind beneath my wings. On a different note, guys, we're actually done. We're about to go out, venture into the world, and start a whole new chapter. I know some of you are a little unsure and scared to grow up, or, if you're Mikkel, you're embracing the idea to a whole new level and are looking forward to being a broke college kid stuck in a dorm room. I know every single one of you are going to be absolutely fine, though, and I have complete confidence that you will succeed in what you do. We have always been told that our class is special, and I honestly do believe it. If I had to give you any advice tonight, it would be to not settle for anything. You all have so much potential, and you have every right and ability to do what makes you happy. Don't hold back from your dreams and let God take the lead. I've really enjoyed high school with all of you, and senior year was the best. I've always liked the quote that says, "Don't be sad that it's over, but be happy that it happened." I wish all of you good luck with everything that you do and can't wait to see where you end up. I won't forget the times we've shared and the endless hours that we've all spent together. And then before I get off this stage and before my cap falls off, because it's totally going to, I'm going to take a selfie, yes. And I know this has been done a lot this year, but I don't care. Thank you.
Our valedictorian is also a very talented student and an outstanding young lady. She has an overall weighted GPA of 4.175. She is the daughter of Kevin and Paula Legan. This young lady was also very active in her high school career as, I take a deep breath here, the founder and leader of Sticks and Stones Anti-Bullying League, local and district president of Future Business Leaders of America, secretary of Art Society, and a member of the National Honor Society, the National Society of High School Scholars, Peer Leaders, Smoke Busters, Youth Empowerment Project, and the National Forensics League. She is also a gifted and award-winning writer and artist. Bree will be attending Drury University in Springfield with a double major in environmental studies and global and transnational studies. She hopes to put these degrees to good use in the Peace Corps, where she will be working with local villagers on developing sustainable methods of farming and clean water collecting. Eventually, she hopes to start her own nonprofit organization with an aim to provide aid to underdeveloped countries. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Brianna Legan.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, family, friends, faculty and staff, and of course, my fellow graduates. It's a very big honor to be up here tonight, and I just wanted to thank you all in advance for lending your ears as I try not to stumble over my carefully prepared words. So we'll see. This is actually the fourth speech that I've written. Each one before was radically different. I wrote about time, the universe, hobbits, music, and people I admire. Each one was so distinct, and by the end of it, I was unsatisfied. After a while of declaring that I had no idea what to do, I realized that my collection of speeches really represented who I am. And it represented one of my key character traits, which is eclecticism. I like so many things, and apparently not one main thing. And I didn't like the speeches individually because they only represented a fraction of who I am. So I thought, why can't I just combine everything that I wrote about into one awesome, ginormous speech? So that's what I did, so bear with me. Sit back, relax, and prepare yourself for a speech that I hope will be profound. I would like to start with something that I learned in Mr. Coyle's Earth Science class. There are 400 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy, and that's where we are right now. And most astronomers agree that there are 170 billion galaxies. So that means that there are at least a septillion stars. That's 1 followed by 24 zeros. Somehow Earth managed to orbit around an average-sized star that we call the Sun at just the right distance out of 1 septillion stars, which allowed for our existence today. The point of this microastronomy lesson wasn't to make you feel insignificant. It's quite the contrary. Out of all the ways the universe could have developed, somehow Earth managed to secure the perfect spot for us. We're kind of special then. 7 billion humans circling around an average-sized sun out of one that's merely a septillion. So we're an anomaly. That didn't come out right. Anomaly, that still didn't come out right. I'm just gonna stop. In the universe. And I think we owe it to ourselves to do something spectacular with the lives that we've been granted. Spectacular how, though? Up until this point, we've followed a strict and structured set of guidelines. But the end of this chapter is drawing to a close. The loose ends are being tied up, and we are done here at Conway High School. We've been together for quite a while now, some of us for 13 plus years. But we're about to split and head off in different directions. The question becomes what direction we're going to head off into. If you were here in 8th grade, you'll remember the poem that Mrs. Mannion had us memorize, The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. I know many of you hated it, but I found it to be beautiful, so I'm going to actually recite the last stanza. 2 roads diverged in the yellow wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. I know it's cliche, and I know people tell us all the time to go our own way, to be trailblazers, and to cover uncharted territory. I won't stand here tonight and ask that everyone pack up their bags and head to the Amazon rainforest. Not only would that likely be a terrible disaster for most of our class, but that's missing All that I ask is that you try something new, that you step outside of your comfort zone and do something different. Too often, what we're most afraid of is change. We fear the unknown. We like to be safe and secure and locked inside our tiny little bubbles. We're all average, normal, comfy people who prefer the safety of our own homes. But we're secretly itching for some kind of adventure. In this way, we are a lot like the mythical hobbits of J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings saga, one of my favorites, if you were wondering. At one point in the book, Lady Galadriel actually said, "Even the smallest person can change the course of the future." While spoken specifically about hobbits, this is one of the most important quotes in the entire series. Because we are all hobbits in our own little way. And while we may wish to step outside of our comfort zone, we might be afraid that we're not good enough, or smart enough, or beautiful, or funny, or strong enough to do anything. We think we better leave the success to the successful. It seems unreachable from here. But what Galadriel says, and what Tolkien's entire trilogy proves, is that anyone can do anything if they set their mind to it. If their courage holds and their spirit does not fail, then they are strong enough and they can succeed. And so can each of you. You might not be able to take the One Ring to Mount Doom, but we can all do something. Yes, I am scared because this town is all that I've ever known, and I know that many of you are in the same boat. But we have to do this. If not now, we never will. In the wise words of Bon Jovi, "It's my life, it's now or never. I ain't gonna live forever. I just wanna live while I'm alive. It's my life." So don't be afraid. The future is coming, and I hope every day that we're ready for it. But I think that we're ready for it. There are so many people that have helped us get to this point, and I know that it takes a little extra time to say something, but that's okay. That's how we can slow time down and let people know what they mean to us, and that we're not taking them for granted. Every human being that I stumble upon has changed my life in some way or another, and as I've tried to articulate what they've meant to me, all I can say is thank you. There's a lot that can be packed into those two little words, and saying them means that you've appreciated what someone has done for you. And when you go home tonight, be sure to thank someone who has positively impacted your life and helped bring you to this point right now. I'll start the chain right now. To my parents, thank you for always being by my side and supporting me. It's been quite the ride, and I am the easy child. To my sister, thank you for being one of the coolest people I know. Don't ever stop that. To the rest of my family, you all are crazy, but I love you, so thank you for always being there. To my teachers, especially Ms. Day, Mr. Hopkins, and Mr. Pennington, thank you for opening my eyes to the world beyond Conway and cheering me on every step of the way. To my friends, thank you for always making me laugh and accompanying me in the mundane world of high school. During our final day at Mr. Pennington's class, he said something truly profound, and I'm hoping that he doesn't mind that I share it tonight, because I'm going to. "I have not learned much in the few more years that I have had than you, but if I have learned anything of real value, it's this. There is no one great meaning towards which all of you are striving. But what there is, however, is your meaning. Very often it must be created and certainly found, but it is unique to you. If I could urge you to do one thing as you leave these walls, I would urge you to seek lives of meaning. Remember, everything is aligned perfectly in the universe so we could live our lives. Just look to the heavens if you need a little inspiration. Don't be afraid to try new things and step off the well-worn path. Believe in yourself because chances are you can do it. It's very difficult to say thank you too much, so always be gracious. Live a life of meaning, live the life you deserve. And when you reach the end, I hope you have no regrets. Now, I promised my mom that I would throw in some song lyrics, because we all love music. So, this is Major Tom to Ground Control. Some people call me the Space Cowboy. I'm all by myself, but it's all right now, because it's only Teenage Wasteland. I see a bad moon rising, and I am blinded by the light. Let it be. Let it be. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. So don't stop me now. Mama, I'm coming home. On the rails of a crazy train. Excuse me while I kiss the sky. So, Conway High School class of 2014. I'll send you off with one final quote, and it is one of my favorites, and it was said by Steve Jobs. "Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them, but the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as crazy, I see genius, because the ones who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. So thank you so much, and good luck to everyone and everything that you do.